My name is Upendanice Barasa. I moved to Japan to teach English from Kenya. If you're interested, subscribe. You don't want to miss it. Come on, join the bandwagon. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Upendanice Barasa. In case you're new here or joining us for the first time, hi. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're interested in teaching English in Japan. Just a disclaimer, guys, I am under the weather. My voice might sound a bit ish. I'm not feeling too well. I do have a cold, so bear with me. Today's video is about why you will hate teaching English in Japan. These are some of the things that would make you like, oh my god, why did I do this to myself? You know, I've had one of those oh my god moments, why? And I'm here to share with you. So maybe this should help inform your decision about teaching English in Japan. So let's get started. Number one is monotony. Monotony will kill you. If you're the kind of person that hates to do the same thing over and over and over again, this is gonna kill you, I swear. Because I'll paint a picture. Imagine you walk into a class. A school has like maybe 4 third grades. So 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, 3-4. Today's topic is animals, and you're teaching about cat, dog, lion, tiger, blah, blah, blah. You're going to do the exact same lesson. You're going to do the exact same lesson, saying the exact same things 4 times consistently. Dog, cat, tiger, dog, cat, tiger. Let's play a game. Yay, play the game 4 times. Do that 4 times in a day. By the time you get to the 4th lesson, you are tired. You have said the exact same thing all day, and now it just feels like a song in your head. It gets annoying sometimes. I get annoyed. It feels very unoriginal. It feels not, you know, in the beginning, the first 2 lessons, it feels nice because, yeah, the kids are excited, but your energy goes lower and lower and lower because you've been saying and doing the same things from morning. It's now afternoon, and you're still saying the same things, doing the same things in the exact same way for the 4th time. Yo, that one killed me. I think you grow tolerance. You end up tolerating it at the end of the day. Number 2 is the working culture. So Japan as a country has the worst working culture in the world, to be honest, given the statistics. People get to work early, leave late, and the hours that you spend just sitting down, sometimes doing nothing, or sometimes pretending to do something, desk warming. But most of the time, I think sometimes just sitting at work and always moving up and down, up and down, up and down is frustrating. So the working culture in Japan is very taxing. That is something that would absolutely make you hate teaching English in Japan. The 3rd one is sudden schedule changes. If you're somebody that hates change, I used to be that person who hates change. I don't like change, especially when I'm not told in advance. It just ruins everything for me. Like, my day begins with a structure. The day before, I know what I'm going to do tomorrow. And working in Japan, because things happen, I mean, it's life. But the sudden schedule changes. Today you knew, I just have 2 lessons and I can do ABC. You get to work. Either there are no lessons or now your schedule is full from 2 to 6. Or sometimes, you know, the topic that you were to teach today changes to something else. So the sudden schedule changes sometimes could throw you off. They could destabilize your day. They could get you confused, especially if you're somebody who needs to be told prior, because 90% of the time, you know, it's like an accident. They only know on the day off, and you only get to be told on the day off. So you really don't have time to prepare yourself psychologically for these changes. The next one, of course, is the salary, the low pay. I could go on and on and on and on about this. I feel like, you know, in Japan we do so much for so little. Even though there are ways to this, but they're not the easiest way around it to get to earn a lot more money. But it means sometimes getting a part-time job, which means more hours, more energy. You're always tired, so it's not always the easiest option. But the money is a bit discouraging. To be honest, it's a bit discouraging, especially when you're an expensive child like me. The next one is little vacation days. I think this varies from company to company, but in my company we only have 10 vacation days per year. So I think it's very little. At least we get the weekends off, and Japan as a country has very many holidays, so you always have time that you can stay home and recoup. But Other than that, I feel like it would be a lot worse if we didn't have any. But the little vacation days, sometimes they're unpaid. And I think that was to my next point. Once your vacation days are off, you don't get paid when you take day offs. After you've used up your vacation days, of course. It's not like back home, even if you're sick, you still get paid because you're sick. But here it's like you're almost paid for what you do. So if you don't do it, you don't get paid for it. That could be a little annoying because sometimes you're unwell and you notice that people tend to push themselves a lot regardless of their health because they don't want it to go unpaid. Next. The reading the room culture. Japan as a society, people are very introverted. They expect you to read the room, and sometimes it's a lot difficult because you can't read the room. It's easy to read the room of a culture that you're accustomed to, but being in a new country where you don't know how things work, you don't know what is respectful, you're still trying to figure out what is respectful, what is not, the cultural differences, I think that's the right word. So even when you have to read the room a lot, people might give you a compliment, but they mean, don't wear that again. They don't mean it looks nice. They mean, don't wear that again. But they told you, you look so nice, I like your shoes. It means don't wear those shoes again. So the reading the room culture is like you almost have to decide for yourself what they're trying to say or what message they're trying to pass across, because oftentimes they're not, what they say is not what they mean. So you have to read the room a lot, and that sometimes could be annoying. Imagine somebody telling you, I like your shirt, it's really nice, but they mean never wear that shirt again, it's not work appropriate. That got me confused a lot. So yeah. Too many unspoken rules. Japan has too many unspoken rules. Too many. Like sometimes it's like the first few months I was living my life not knowing whether I'm doing something right or wrong, because the things that you would think are right, are okay. Sorry. In this country, they might not be. Something as innocent as wearing perfume. Japanese people don't like scents that are too strong. And I hear there's even a law that you could be jailed for your perfume being too strong. Like there are just too many unspoken rules. Sometimes you don't even know. There are rules to everything, which the obvious ones, it's easy, like standing on what side of the escalator or walking on which side of the stairs. Those are like out there in your face. But there are some that, you would be doing something innocently and people are giving you a side eye because this is something that people don't do and you're doing. So too many unspoken rules, and this applies to work. Especially at work, I feel like there are things you could be doing that are not acceptable, but you don't know that they're not acceptable, and people might end up, holding a grudge or something. I don't know. They could hate you or not like you because of something that you did and you didn't know what you did was wrong or offended them. So too many unspoken rules. Another thing is fatigue. You'll get tired. I think the first few months I got tired from the monotony. The monotony really gave me terrible chronic fatigue because my mouth was always running dry sometimes. The dancing, the singing, the gestures, the performing every day in class. I would come home and I'm just so tired. So tired. And sometimes it's the rushing to catch the bus or to catch the train. The commute could be tiresome, and having to do this 5 days a week can be a bit difficult, especially for a country that keeps time. And I come from a country that there's no hurry in Africa, as we say. So the first few months were challenging. So you can imagine how tired I used to be, having to run every time to catch the bus or the train. The next one is building strong bonds with students or colleagues can be difficult. I feel like as a teacher back home, I would pride myself in being able to have good relationships with my colleagues and my students, because obviously we could understand and we could speak, and I really related to the students a lot. I wanted to create an environment where students felt like they could speak to me about anything, they could tell me anything, and we could have an open conversation without them feeling that, I'm mighty, I'm the teacher, and they can't say anything to me. And even with my colleagues, it was easier to make friends in the workspace, even though sometimes it's, they say people you work with are not your friends, but I think back home it was a lot easier to make friends within the workspace. But in Japan, first, you don't even speak the language, meaning that creating that bond is difficult. But even Japanese people themselves, it's very difficult to create a a lasting bond with them, even if they spoke the language. It's just not their culture to have this strong relationships whereby if you had a problem you'd run to them, because to them it's like you're burdening them with your problems. If you wanted to ask somebody for money, something like that, that is normal back home. Here it's not really normal, even if that person is your friend. Like sharing your challenges, maybe you have a problem and you want a friend to speak to. 99% of the time it's not a Japanese person or a Japanese friend you want to share that with, because for them, like, this is too much information, this is too personal, I don't want to know this, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, that's just how their culture is like. So it's very difficult for you to create those strong bonds within work, outside work, and with the students especially, because even as an ALT we have restrictions of, oh, you can't, in Japan you can't touch people, you can't touch students, you can't hug. Even like hugging is not a part of their culture, they bow as well. So even that physical contact is not there at all. And even when it comes to social media, of course that's a no-no, obviously, even in our part of the world. But the strong bonds with students, it's not there. I feel like I can't have that, and I can't have the same with colleagues, which could be a bit frustrating, even when you just want to have, you know, just people you can talk to, not necessarily share your problems, but just have this casual bond of just being nice and friendly, which you can do, but it's not tangible. It's like when you get out of that environment, this is not somebody you can call and say, oh, hi, we are friends. It's not easy. So the lack of being able to build strong relationships. The next one, which would be my last one, is language barrier. Like I said in one of my, I think in my 1 year update in Japan as an English teacher, the language barrier has been a menace. I feel like sometimes students want to know or ask questions, speak to me, have deep conversations, but we can't because they don't speak English, I don't speak Japanese. Same to teachers and my colleagues. And even outside my work environment, there are people who would come to me, especially old people, just middle-aged women or men, would want to have conversations. They're just curious about where you're from and you, but I don't speak Japanese, they don't speak English, and it's frustrating because you can't communicate. I don't know if you guys understand how difficult it is not being able to communicate with somebody when you guys are really trying. You really want to have this conversation, but you can't because you can't communicate. So these are the reasons why you will really hate teaching English in Japan. If this video is interesting, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. See you again next time, same place, same time. Bye.